Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome. I thought I would take the time out, be it that I'm in a better position today to be able to speak about this. So I thought I would go ahead and talk about some of the techniques in relationship to, well, just overall, okay? If we can do that, are you ready for this? Okay, so the primary techniques that's already been presented, and I created PDFs for them. One of them, which I didn't really go over that much at all because I just really couldn't. I'm not a whole lot better, but I'm going to attempt to do it here, okay, while I'm able. So that has to do with the Maharic Seal. Not just the Maharic Seal, but the planetary biointerface system. And understanding that if it wasn't for that, we couldn't do the rest of the techniques. That is being able to interface. Okay, so I'm going to be referring, I'm not going to show any pictures, I'm just going to talk, okay? If you haven't downloaded the PDFs, please do. For some reason, some people think that they don't really need the PDF and that they already have the material. The PDF that I have is better. The reason why, it's very condensed and each section deals with that very specific thing. And I put a lot of time and effort into creating these for you, so please download them. That's what it's for. And if you can't download them through your phone, just email me and I'll send it to you. Okay? It's really that simple. Let's go ahead and look at the Maharic Seal, and then I'm going to go into the next stage for the following techniques. Technique 6, which is the quick Maharic Seal, because once you learn how to do the first one, right, and it's understanding the entirety of it, as I mentioned before, just read through it and imagine it as you're reading through it. Don't actually do the technique. And then next time you read through it, begin to do the technique because you're already familiar with it. Okay? And you can do this in your mind. You don't have to close your eyes and imagine things. You can actually imagine. I actually imagine things stronger without my eyes closed, believe it or not. Because my intending it to be there, becomes more focused, if that makes any sense. So if you have a problem with closing your eyes and you kind of lose things, then keep them open and just read through it and just do it while you're reading through it, you know, and then do it again until you become so familiar with it that you're able to just do it quickly. And that's where the quick Maharic Seal comes into play, right? So all you have to do is, there's no time limit. You don't have to go through all these steps. You can just immediately just boom, 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 and make it happen, okay? So that's the whole point of becoming quite familiar with it. And that's, again, technique number 6, which is the quick Maharic Seal. I think the only thing I need to mention, again, would be the idea of grounding. Remember I had mentioned, for those who had watched it, that it's about grounding. You have to be grounded because you have to think of this as being a circuit. Think of this as being a simple circuit, and you have to be grounded. And what does it mean to be grounded? Well, that is the planetary biointerface system, which simply means being able to connect with the earth. That's your ground. When we're looking at the Maharic Seal, we're seeing the center of the earth being the 13th chakra, all right? This is from where the planetary Maharic shield exists, all right? And so that holds frequencies or dimensional bands 10, 11, and 12, okay? That's from where we're pulling that current, okay? So you have to be grounded. None of this works without the ground. All this stuff is found within the Kathara Manual 1, all right, just to let you know. And also, just to communicate this and emphasize this again, when I put together these PDFs, I am breaking it down as simple as that I am able, you know. Here lately, I haven't really been able to give a whole lot of time to it because it does take a lot of time. But to be able to condense it in a way to where it's like, okay, you don't get overwhelmed by looking at a bunch of information. You just look at one thing at a time. And it's a lot better graphic and everything else that's being shown within the PDFs that I created, because I recreated some of these in order not to infringe upon copyright or anything like that. I understand the reason for copyright, but at the same time I have a problem with it, because if you're given something for the benefit of humanity, you can't put a price tag on it. Not only that, you can't get it locked into the system that's creating bondage. This system is a system of bondage here within this world, and you can't connect yourself to it. If you do, you allow for the energy of the world to infiltrate. Do you understand what I mean by that? Hopefully you do. So it says the fastest means of natural activating of the personal 12-strand DNA template is the tribal shield activation, activating the 144 fire letters of the tribal shield and sacred salutations, Merkaba activations. Number 2, Emerald and Amethyst awakening, 2 Masters Kundalini activations, releasing key fire codes between the DNA strand templates to allow for expedited DNA strand braiding. Number 3, DNA template bioregenesis, progressive use of the internal directed DNA template bioregenesis technologies for progressive purging of strand template mutations, restoring of the natural D12 Christos divine blueprint of the 12-strand DNA template, and expedited accelerated activation of the DNA strand template base codes and acceleration codes. Now, I'm not going to take the time to explain all this. It's really actually simple. There's a whole lot of language being used here that can sound very confusing and overcomplicated, but I've talked enough about the idea of the Particake and the Particum for one to actually get the idea of what this means. When you're referring to anything in regard to base codes and acceleration codes, we're talking about the Particum and Particake. When you're thinking of a Merkaba, you're thinking of the Particum and the Particake. Everything goes back to the Unicide. The Particake, looking at that triune expression of that, is where you'll find everything. Everything exists within that. All right. That being said, moving on. 4, master key codes. Use of the personal scalar wave guide symbol code programs that correspond directly to the core programming of the personal D12 Maharic shield for further sequential expedition or expediting. That's the wrong word they're using here. That's incorrect grammar. Expediting, it should be expediting of the strand template activation. You get the point, hopefully. Number 5, the Melchizedek Cloister Level 3 Regent Orientation. Okay, here we go. Transmission of the Kirashe Primal Light and the Kundare, which is the Primal Sound Field current. All right, it says rainbow current, rainbow ray current. Again, more jargon unnecessarily needed to be given. When we're talking about rainbow ray, we're talking about light spectra. Light spectra creating the idea of color in relationship to that consciousness band. Okay? Directly, so orientation directly of this, the primal light and the Kundare, which is the primal sound field, directly into the personal DNA template, through directed through chakra induction. Sufficient rainbow ray frequencies to provide a level 3 regent orientation can be transmitted by a Melchizedek Cloister level 5 elder consummate or a level 6 Ikar indigo child type 1 Magi Grell line angelic humans who have the frequencies of the primal creation currents integrated into their DNA template from birth. Okay, expedites all the above while provide additional blah, 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 blah. Okay, what that is referring to is facilitation. Having the facilitation, you can get that directly through these techniques. I'm going to strongly make a statement. You can get this directly through your higher awareness. You don't need anybody else here to assist you with this. And one of the things that I've seen here within the Cathara Level 1 and some of these techniques is a facilitation of other people coming in and helping to assist you. Now, when I was in the church, I'm just going to say this, when I was in the church, there was certain people who had abilities, okay? They had strong abilities. However, I learned not to seek anybody's facilitation, because most of my profound experiences that I have ever had, and they've been profound, trust me, have been when I was alone, or it was uniquely happening to me that was not initiated by anybody else in the room. Okay? So I don't see it as being a requirement because what this does when you're looking to have facilitation through other individuals means you're going to go outside of yourself to look for people to help you, and you don't know who those people are. And I say don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. You can get everything that you need with what you do personally, and you can get higher assistance with you in your higher bands of consciousness within these other stations of identity. You'll get that directly through yourself. Okay? You don't need to find anything external or find somebody else to assist you or go to some website and pay somebody to help you. Just don't do that. All right, that being said, I think that's pretty much it. So the tribal shield activation, I'm going to go through all this stuff, folks. I mean, given the opportunity and the ability, I am going to go through all this stuff and present it in a way that we can do it together. Some of these things we can do it together, like for the tribal shield activation. That's something I'm really looking forward to doing. And being able to do it on video. I would really love to be able to do this in a live podcast. This would be great. It would really be great to do that, you know. That way the energy can be captured for those who would. Here's the thing about podcasts, folks. If you want to be part of a podcast, you have to let me know. Otherwise, I can't do them. I'm not going to do it by myself. I'll just do a video, which is, in a lot of cases, a lot of work, and it's boring, you know. What I mean by boring is because I'm doing it alone, and I'm kind of tired of doing that alone. I mean, I'm here to be of assistance. Try to follow with what I'm saying, okay? I'm trying to be of assistance and trying to do what I can, but I've been doing this as a lone ranger, and I don't like doing things as a lone ranger. But my hand has been forced to be a lone ranger. Dear God, step up. Let me know that you want to be part of it and help initiate it. And then, you know, it's about community. You want to create a community online? Well, you have to have an accountability to that community. You can't be running all over the place looking for all kinds of things and just grabbing stuff and running. Be committed to one thing. It's not that you can't do those other things. It means you need to be committed to something. If you want to be part of it, then be part of it. You know, I can do what I can do, but I can only do so much. And I need other people's assistance, and I need other people to be involved to inspire and just to work together. More energy can be supplied by those who are in agreement with one another and then acting it out. It has to have action. So there is that. And I've kind of been preparing myself for this stuff for a while. When I had wrote the song the path to Amaria. The way I see the path is through our vertical column as far as receiving the energy. It's it's directed from dimension 1 up through dimension 12 off to the Manu pillar. Okay? That's the path of Amaria. And all this stuff is all related. When I write songs or anything that I'm doing like that, it's all part of the same thing for me. I'm telling a story and I'm carving a path, and I'm facilitating through sound and light, through the immersion of self within a conscious intention. We are in a source consciousness field, and this is something I've been emphasizing, and people don't seem to think that it's that important, but it's the most important thing. Your intention is how you make everything work. Everything work. And my emphasis on the sound and light techniques, I'm going to be incorporating those. The whole point of being able to activate your DNA is to stimulate the cells so that they vibrate. These cells are the regulators of that current that allows a certain amount of current to flow through incrementally. However, none of that's flowing through if it's dormant, because it's being refracted from the implants that are there. That's one of the things that the implants do, is that. That's, I would have to say, is the primary reason for the implants being there. So in order to stimulate the DNA, to activate it, the crystal cells have to vibrate and be able to pull that energy and have it be able to be regulated through in order to activate that DNA. So everything's dormant, so we want to bring it out of dormancy, right? So when I'm doing the sound and light techniques, you can feel it. You can feel that vibration. You can feel it vibrating. So it has a low oscillation here, high vibration, and then what you're doing is you're reversing it where you start to get a lower vibration and higher oscillation. That's what you want. Okay? And the only way that's going to happen if you have a stimulation of these crystal cells in order to enable the dormant DNA or inactive DNA, which they call junk DNA, to reassemble and begin to spin. Because what is DNA? Everything is comprised of particuli. Here it is, 101. The first creation vibration, thought formation, right? Manifest. And then it duplicates. A copy is made from that, right? That's the process of duplication. And then that copy, in the most simplest terms, splits. It splits. And when it splits, it creates an inversion of what it is here. So if we have here the part to come, which consists of magnetism, matter, pre-sound. Pre-sound is vibration. Okay? So if we have the inversion of that, what do we have? So magnetic. Let's look at it from that. Magnetic, one. So the opposite of that is electrical. And then we have matter. Okay? Then we have antimatter. Okay? You get the point with what I'm saying. So when you look at a Merkaba, what does it consist of? It has an electrical acceleration code and it has a magnetic base code. These are two counter-rotating fields. What is that? The particum and the particule. When you're looking at the sound and light body, what are you seeing? You see the sound and light body, and this is how it allows us to be able to regenerate, is where it goes through this fusion-fission process. What is that? That's the particum and particule. Everything goes back to the point of origin. If you look at the Unisci, you look at what's going on, you look at that triune expression, everything that you see within this construct, every single thing that you see, everything that you experience is that. So, if you don't understand that, then you're going to have a hard time understanding everything else. And if you understand that in its simplicity, not saying it's simple, but in its simplicity, understanding it, then you're able to relate it to everything else that you experience, everything else that you are doing with these techniques, and you can see the fundamental function. And it makes it easy for you to be able to visualize it, or at least be aware of it strongly and understand it fundamentally. Yeah, there's a whole lot. See, this is the reason for the podcast type of thing. So I'm going to stop here because just a lot of stuff. All right, folks. All right, let me know about the podcast thing. This was just to kind of wet your whistle to let you know there is a whole lot to be done here, and also I want to be able to do music in a live podcast. Be able to do. There's a whole lot of things that I've been wanting to do, been trying to do. I need help. I really need help. I need all the encouragement and everything that you can offer up. Most people that I know that have YouTube channels, they, after a couple years, if it doesn't work out the way that they want, they just kind of just go their own way, and they're no longer part of. They don't do that anymore, and they don't. They look to do something else, and I don't blame them. In fact, if I had the opportunity to go elsewhere and actually make an impact, I would, because it's been like pulling teeth here on the YouTube. YouTube's the whole thing. This whole internet thing's been very perplexing to me, because the etiquette and how people interact with one another seems to be, it doesn't fit into the way that I have experienced things in real time. And let's be honest, folks, in regard to your own personal life, how does the internet actually relate to your own personal life? It's like something else out here, and here you've got your real life, you know? And I'm used to that, not this, and then trying to bring this into that. Oh my goodness. It's just been way too much, especially for this old guy. I'm used to things being what I consider to be semi-normal. The internet thing is really wacky to me. It really is. You know, and I'm trying to unwackify it. And it's been really difficult. Who hangs out for 13 years and has not even 5,000 subscribers? Me. You know? And other people are really interested in a whole lot of other things. And all the things that other people talk about, you think I couldn't talk about those things? I can talk about those things way better than they ever can. But I don't do that because I'm looking for something that is actually much more meaningful. Things that actually can change things. Things that can be done within a community fashion, in agreement, walking in agreement. And that takes guts. It takes initiative. It takes effort. It takes, in my case, it has taken sacrifice to hold on to all this. And I'm just saying, you can't do it alone. And I'm asking for help. So, step up, folks.